and this is where the blanket was found. You can clearly see it was visible from the road. Like 15 feet from the road. Maybe not even. Yeah, a little more than 15 feet. And this is the exact branch. So way higher than 5 feet in the air. It's actually over my head, so it's already 6 feet. That one right there. It's draped over that branch.
Welcome to the channel, Her Dark Side. This is not a cold case. This is not something buried in history. This is happening right now. 2 children were heard laughing in their backyard on the morning of May 2nd, 2025. 40 minutes later, they were gone. 6-year-old Lilly Sullivan, 4-year-old Jack Sullivan. No confirmed sightings since. No arrests. No bodies. And no clear explanation for what happened in that 40-minute window. Tonight, we're going to walk through everything, carefully, chronologically, and factually. What is confirmed, what is speculation, and what still doesn't make sense. Because in a town of barely 100 people, children do not simply disappear. Lansdowne Station, Pictou County, Nova Scotia. Rural, heavily wooded, sparse homes separated by long dirt roads, limited cell service, thick brush, fallen timber, marshland, and nearby waterways including Middle River. This is not a suburban neighborhood. It is remote terrain. Lilly and Jack lived on Gerlach Road in a house set back from the main road, surrounded almost entirely by woods. Inside the home lived their mother, Malaya Brooks Murray, 27, their stepfather, Daniel Martell, 34, their baby sister Meadow, 16 months old, and Daniel's mother, Janie Martell, who lived in a camper behind the house. Lilly was described as energetic, social, imaginative. Jack was quieter, observant, curious. They rode the bus to Salt Springs Elementary, a school with only about 80 students. Small town, everyone knows everyone. Lilly and Jack had been homesick for several days. Friday morning, May 2nd. At 6 a.m., Malaya's alarm went off. She marked the children absent from school around 6:15 a.m. and went back to sleep. Around 8 a.m., both parents heard the children awake and playing. Lilly reportedly came in and out of the bedroom. The baby eventually woke up. Daniel turned on a show. The parents drifted in and out of sleep. Around 9:40 a.m., Malaya noticed something. It was too quiet. She asked Daniel if he heard the kids. He hadn't. They got up. The house was empty. The front door had a wrench positioned as a makeshift alert system. It was still in place. The likely exit point. The backsliding glass door. Outside, their rubber boots were missing. Lily's pink boots with rainbow print. Jack's blue dinosaur boots, also missing. Lily's strawberry backpack. At 9:40 a.m., Malaya called 911. Janie, Daniel's mother, had been outside earlier that morning. At approximately 8:59 a.m., she reported hearing Lilly and Jack giggling on the swings behind the house. 40 minutes later, they were gone. That is the confirmed disappearance window. Less than 1 hour.
So this is the patio door?
This is the patio door.
That Jack and Lilly would have
That Jack and Lilly came out of.
Okay. So it's the morning of May 2nd. Take me through what happened.
Okay, I was up at 6 o'clock, sat in there and had my tea, and then on Facebook, 7 o'clock, I get up, come over here, fed my chickens. My brother, Ron, called me at 8:48 and asked me if I wanted to go to town with them. And I said no. I said I'm staying home. I said I'm going back to bed. Okay, I went and I laid down. Next thing you know, my dog started barking and the kids were out in the yard. Now you can see there's 2 swings where the kids play. My bedroom is right there. I heard the kids. This is where the kids' swings are. This is where they always played.
And so that's where...
That's where I heard them. And I can hear everything in that trailer. If 2 kids get out of a fence, and Jack and Lily are all the time yelling, especially Lily, come on, Jackie, let's go, Jackie, let's go, Jackie. It's all I hear out here. When the kids get out of the fence and come out through here, I would have heard them yelling, come on, Jackie, let's go, let's go. I didn't hear anything. The next thing I heard is I heard Daniel yelling. He was yelling for Jack and Lily. I didn't get up because I thought he was yelling for Jack and Lily in the house. So the next thing you know, came out of the trailer after I heard Daniel, about, I'd say, 10 minutes after I heard him, I come out of the trailer. I opened up the door, was standing here. Malaya was standing right here with Meadow on her hip. And I come out and I said, what's up? She said, Jack and Lily are missing. I said, how long? She said, about 20 minutes. I closed the door, got my boots on, came out here, ran up in the woods. Just right up here. The kids have a little fort that they made out of sticks and fir branches. And that's where they go. You can see them and hear them. We went for walks in the woods. I had to practically carry Jack through the woods because there was no way that he was walking through all that tree falls and bushes. I did this whole area. There's an old road up back. When I got up to the top of the hill, I met Daniel. And I said to him, I said, did you find them? He said, no. He said, you coming with me? I said, no. I said, I'm going to search this area. Because when she told me the kids were missing, you automatically think they went into the woods. That was my first instinct. Mm-hmm. So I went up and I did this whole area, this whole wooded area, right up to the top of the dirt road, came back down here and came back down the side of the road, came back down here and came back up the same spot. I went back into the house. By the time the cops were here, I don't know exactly what time, I didn't take my phone. The cops were here. There was a bench sitting here, or a sawhorse, it's over there, was sitting here. I was sitting on it, bawling my eyes out. I was crying because I blame myself for not getting up that morning to see the kids. Because if I would have got up, this wouldn't have never happened. Okay? That's why I was crying.
We've heard a lot about the patio door.
Okay.
Yeah, so let's go see that.
Sure.
So this is the patio door.
This is the patio door.
That Jack and Lily would have...
That Jack and Lily came out of.
Okay. And so tell us why we've heard about the patio door.
Because everybody's saying on Facebook, on YouTube, on TikTok that the patio door makes a noise, and why they didn't hear the door open. The bedroom is back there. Okay.
That far window.
The
there.
last window is the bedroom.
And so they would have come out this door.
They would have come out this
that
door.
morning.
Yes.
And then they went and played on the swing set.
Yes.
And that's when you heard them.
That's when I heard them. Right here in this area here. I plan on putting a pool up this year for the kids. You need level ground for a pool. That's what I was doing. I was leveling out the ground to set up a pool.
And this is the Thursday.
This is Thursday.
Right.
Friday, all the investigators, search and rescue and everything, right around here was where they found the only footprint.
This is where the boot.
This is where I was raking that night. That's where the boot print was found, in the mud where I was raking.
I thought there was 2 boot prints.
There was supposed to be a footprint found way up on the pipeline.
Right.
Malaya sent me the picture of it. That's all I know. There was a footprint found.
Okay.
But I'm telling you, the footprint was here. The only one that they can confirm that was Lily and Jack's was right here.
So it was child size.
Yes, a man, one of the investigators came in here and was measuring it all. Mm-hmm. I'm not here to lie. The reason why I wanted you guys to come here and do the interview here is to show you exactly where everything took place. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. And to show people that this is what happened. All the stuff that people, all the rumors and accusations about us murdering the kids and burying them on the property, this place has been searched thoroughly. The well has been checked, the septic tank, all the barns have been searched. My RV was searched 3 times. The trailer was searched. This whole place was searched. If they want to come back and search again, they're more than welcome.
You've talked about drones flying over your property. You've talked about cars driving down the road and slowing down. What's that been like?
I'm scared to go out sometimes in my own property. I mostly stay around back here. And if I do go out front for anything, I usually have my head down because I don't want people to see who I am. That is me myself. It's not because I'm hiding from anybody. I don't like to be on camera. I don't like my picture taken. I'm just a quiet person that just wants to be left alone, and I mind my own business. I'm just a hermit.
Do you feel as if the finger has been pointed towards you and Daniel?
Yes, I do. Because I live on the property. Come on.
Do you think your son had anything to do with the disappearance of Jack and Lily?
No, I don't believe Daniel had anything to do with the disappearance of Jack and Lily. Our heart don't lie, and my heart is telling me that my kid did not have nothing to do with this, and I had nothing to do with this. You know, if something bad happens, you get like your heart drops. Mine hasn't dropped. Deep down in my heart, I do believe Jack and Lily are alive. It's not because of what people are saying. It's my heart tells me that they are alive.
RCMP responded quickly. Initial assessment. No signs of forced entry. No visible disturbance inside the home. The working theory early on. The children wandered into the woods. Search teams deployed immediately. Drones, helicopters, search dogs, ATVs, volunteers. The terrain was brutal. Thick underbrush, fallen trees, steep embankments. Weather, around 40 degrees. Cold, wet, muddy from snowmelt. By that afternoon, a vulnerable missing persons alert was issued. An Amber Alert was not activated due to lack of confirmed abduction evidence. Over 100 searchers covered approximately 4 square kilometers on day 1 alone. No trace. A piece of pink blanket was found along a pipeline trail about 1 kilometer away. Initially uncertain, later confirmed to belong to Lilly. Boot prints were also located along the same trail. 2 different child-sized prints. One had the marking 29 embedded, consistent with Lilly's UK size 29 boot, equivalent to Canadian size 11. Police never publicly confirmed a definitive match. The rest of the blanket was reportedly later located near the end of the driveway. Rain complicated scent tracking. Despite intense canine efforts, no trail extended beyond that area.
A last-ditch effort before winter hits for any sign of 5-year-old Jack Sullivan and his 6-year-old sister Lily. These volunteers split into 6 groups and spent a day in the woods of Lansdowne, the rural Nova Scotia community where the siblings were reported missing on the morning of May 2nd. The nonprofit group Please Bring Me Home made the trip from Ontario to coordinate people on the ground.
So this will be our side. We're going to follow it way down. Eventually, we're going to turn the river and we follow it up past Lansdowne Lake.
About 30 people volunteered to take part in the search, most of them family and friends, all coming together in the hopes of finding any clue that will lead them to Jack and Lily.
It's sad, very sad, but it's been 6 months and we need some type of closure to this case.
One focus, the area where a drone detected 2 heat sources late on May 2nd, just before midnight.
One appears like it could be small object sitting, just 2 heat signatures sitting close together near the water.
RCMP says an officer followed up, found nothing, and determined it was likely a bear, but this group wanted to be certain.
I'm not sure, but it may or may not be the drone hit where the infrared sensors picked up, just because I see a line coming down from up here and leads right down to our water. I'm not sure. I've got to confirm it later on, but we're just going to take note of it and do a special little search around here, especially just in case it is something.
Nothing was found in that specific area, but teams did find a few items of interest.
And it looks like it has like underwear, like it's been burned, and it's the t-shirt. So it's a unique design. So we took a picture, we sent it to the RCMP. They then spoke to family and they said that it's not something they recognize.
Volunteers also came upon a child's bicycle, a blue blanket, and an old geocaching kit with the children's stepfather's name in it.
That's why it's so important to relook, like especially before snowfall, and have a third party come and just take a peek. Not that we're no better than anybody else, it's just having a third party come look is so important.
But at times, it got tense. One property owner refused entry where there are signs for no trespassing.
Why are you trying to stop us from finding them?
You have what?
We weren't in the
Two
field.
very dangerous animals.
What animals are they?
2 rams.
A roller coaster of emotions for everyone involved, especially those who love Lily and Jack.
It'd be discouraging if none of it means anything. So I'm really hoping that something has turned up, evidence of something. Anything will do.
I do feel disappointed too. The main output I was looking for was finding the kids, and that's not what happened today. I do feel like we have more questions, especially with finding things throughout the woods.
The RCMP says none of the items found are relevant to the investigation, but with everyone feeling unsettled, the volunteer group now plans to bring in cadaver dogs to do continued targeted searches this week. Angela McIver, CBC News, Lansdowne.
And the fact that it's found in the water, downriver, yeah, it's just strange. It's strange. So we're organizing a search for Jack and Lily Sullivan. We are relying on community members to come and join those efforts. We're going to offer like a little bit of shooting from the hip training on walking along looking for evidence. We've had about 40 people volunteer, but overnight you've had some people drop out. So I would be over the moon if 30 people showed up. Your safety does come first. We are looking for the kids, but your safety comes first. I would say mostly family and friends, and then there's just like concerned members of the community that wanted to get involved and help search, and this is their opportunity to get that. We were not going to get involved. We were trying to stay far away from this because we felt that the RCMP were heavily involved, search and rescue was heavily involved. They were doing a bang-up job from what we could see from the outside looking in, and as soon as you start having conversations with the family, when any family member fills out an intake with Please Bring Me Home, we always get involved in some capacity. We never say no. Of course, it's sad we're going to search for 2 missing kids, but I think that the community and the family coming together to do this effort, and a crew coming from Ontario is hopefully overpowering that somberness.
Okay, my team, we're going. You guys good?
Can you describe how the day's been going so far?
It's been a wee bit stressful. Just trying to manage from the outside to make sure that the searchers are safe, and there's 6 groups, so it's a lot of moving around and making sure that they're okay. Like I've had to get 2 people out who've needed to go out because it was too much for them. So that's been a little bit difficult to manage. And then just with the cell service and the walkie-talkies not working properly, it's been really difficult. But I know where everybody is now, and we've only got a couple hours left of sunlight, so we're ahead of the game. There has been some items located that would initially be items of interest. So it looked to be like a boy's t-shirt we had located. We sent that to the RCMP. They're going to connect with family to see if it appears familiar. At this time, it doesn't appear to be a familiar shirt. We found like a box with some people's names in it that are interesting that we're going to turn over to the RCMP. They're actually on duty today, so just in the event that we do find something. And they were very interested in the box that we found with the certain names in it that I can't say, but they're interested in that. And the fact that it's found in the water, downriver, and yeah, it's just strange. It's strange. We're gonna go and just check in with 2 of the search teams. This is a rickety road we're gonna be going down to reach them though. Likely gonna be picking up 2 of them to come back to vehicles so that they can come and the rest of them can get picked up.
I'm good. Anyone want out of this? Good.
Okay. So just continue on then. So you guys are gonna go to the pipeline, or sorry, yeah, it is the pipeline trail, and then walk on the opposite side of the woods. It's a pretty thick trail, and then I guess just follow along the water. Do you guys think, like, see what time you're at when you get to the water though? Because you'll see you're still.
Yeah, I got you.
You're got a ways up here to go and down there. So, and I want to start really getting people out by 4.
Yeah. What time is it now?
2. Yeah, 2 hours. This, by far, has been the most difficult to manage during the search because you're having to check in with each team every 30 minutes and things come up. You have to go and talk to property owners who are upset that we're there.
I will have you charged for trespassing on private property.
Do it!
This has been by far one of the more difficult ones to manage from a safety perspective. Now that I've been here, I'm even in my own mind trying to comprehend how it can be possible that these kids wandered off and they haven't been found. Especially after being in there and seeing all the flagging tape and hearing from all the property owners that we spoke with what the searching has been done. I'm having a really hard time fathoming that probability now that I've seen it for myself.
And what makes you say that?
Many things, but I think most importantly it is the amount of effort that search and rescue has put forward to try and find these kids and how quick they were able to start that process. I just find it more unlikely by the minute today that they had wandered. I'm not saying it's not possible. It's just I after seeing it, I can't understand how they wouldn't have been found that first day. We're not stopping. Like we have to stop because winter's approaching. And we will come back in springtime and do a search dependent on what RCMP's involvement in springtime will be. So, and who knows what will be learned throughout the winter. When the families ask for help, you can't really say no, whether it's a current case or whatever. We have the capacity to do it. We shot from the hip here and planned this in 2 weeks, and we were able to do it, and we were able to clear many kilometers just by asking for locals to come help. So it can certainly be done, and we're in it until they're found.
By May 3rd, the search escalated further. Waterways were checked. Abandoned mine shafts considered. Nearby properties searched. Still nothing. At 12:45 a.m., May 3rd, Malaya made a second 911 call, raising concern about the children's biological father, Cody Sullivan. Cody had not seen the children in approximately 3 years. He and his mother Belinda were interviewed. Their home was searched, vehicles checked, highway toll cameras reviewed. No evidence placing Cody near Gerlach Road. He passed polygraph examinations.
My heart tells me these babies are gone. My heart tells me that. I am the grandmother of Lilly and Jack. I am the grandmother on the biological father's side. My son is Cody Sullivan. He's not in jail. He's never been out west. He does not have a criminal record. And right now he's living with me. He has been for 9 months.
How did you find out that Lilly and Jack were missing?
The mom of my grandson called me. We were in town. She asked if I heard the news. She sent me the article that was on Facebook showing the kids missing. I couldn't call Malaya yet, so I waited till we got home. And I called Well, I didn't call her, I texted her. And she told me that, yes, that the kids were missing, that they've been missing since this morning. I was in a state of panic, shock. But in the back of my mind, I kept saying, well, they'll find them. I mean, I'm assuming that they'd find them. So I told her, well, we'll head out first thing in the morning and help with the search. It was around between 3 and 3:30 in the morning. A couple of cop cars pull into the driveway. The lights wake me up that I'm a fairly light sleeper, so I see the cars pull in, so I knew what it was. So they come inside. They only stood in the kitchen. They wanted me to wake Cody up, and they wanted to know when was the last time he had seen the kids, and that they were just making sure that the kids weren't here. And then they left. So we showed up Saturday morning, me and my sister, and we met up with my daughter, and we started, well, I asked Malaya, I said, Malaya, I said, you know your kids. Nobody knows their kids like their mom. Where do your kids normally go to play out in the yard? What direction do they usually like to explore? And she said, well, they always play up in the little woods right on the side. I said, well, okay. I said, we'll start from that point and we'll work our way out. We had spoken to a search and rescue, and we weren't allowed on the other side because that's where they were searching at the time. So we just started combing through the woods up through there. We were gone for a couple of hours. I'm yelling for Lily and Jack. We always called Jack Jackie Boy. And yeah, that went on for a few hours, but those woods, I started to feel that I can't see them being in the woods. There's trees everywhere. You literally have to climb over trees, climb under bushes. It is really, really thick. We come back out and I went in to see Malaya again. I assumed she was in shock. She was very, very non-emotional, very just flat, monotone. But Malaya's very soft-spoken anyway, that she's not usually excitable. I thought that's made her a really great mom. She was an excellent mom. She never raised her kid or voice at the kids. That it was always, now Lily, what did mommy say? And I used to think, now if anybody's meant to be a mom, it was her. A part of me still feels that.
Why only a part of you still feels that? What do you mean?
After seeing the place, seeing the condition of the home, it was like the total opposite of what I knew of Malaya. She was always clean, very clean about herself, about the kids, about her home. This home looked more like a camp. Now, I don't know if it's from all the people that were there, because I didn't show up till the day after, but it was very unkempt. I was pretty surprised.
I love you.
Lily is, she was my little dream girl, the first granddaughter. And I loved that she had the brown hair and she had a space between her teeth, which I had when I was a kid. So yeah, she was our little princess. Jack was such a sober, serious little baby that he didn't like to smile. You could tickle him, and he would look at you ever so serious, like he was really studying you.
And so how long were your son and Malaya together?
3.5 years, I think it was, yeah. I thought they were the picture-perfect family. Then Malaya started to tell me that they were having problems and she wasn't happy. She told me that she wasn't happy and she thinks she's gonna leave. And I told her that we supported whatever she decides, that one good parent is way better than 2 broken ones.
And then how did that change your relationship with Lily and Jack?
I thought it was going to change, but it didn't. Yeah, it didn't change. Malaya, she was a sweetheart. Anytime we wanted to see the kids, she'd come by for a visit. She'd bring them by all the time. It was actually really, really good.
So when was the last time you saw the children?
1.5 years, almost, really. It's about 1 year and 9 months.
How did you deal with that?
Really, to be honest, maybe I didn't deal good enough with it. I looked at the fact that when her and my son separated, my son walked away. He chose to walk away, that she wanted sole custody of the kids. So she petitioned the courts for sole custody, and when she did that, he said he was done.
Were you ever formally questioned?
Yes.
So then it's about a month after Lilly and Jack are last seen that they come and formally question you.
So it's about 3 weeks. They questioned Cody for an hour and a half in the vehicle, and then they questioned me for 2 hours in the vehicle.
How did that feel to you?
I didn't mind. I mean, to me, I expected I'm the grandmother, so it wasn't a surprise to me. I'm assuming the sooner they do all that, I wish they would have done it sooner, that the sooner they can move on. So I didn't have a problem. My son was a little upset about it. He said they made him feel like he did something wrong, and he said he hadn't seen the kids in 3 years. So he was a little upset about it, that he said that they really come at him hard. They wanted to know what her favorite color was, and he said, they were babies when I seen them last. He said, she was just learning what she wanted to figure out to eat. I don't know what her color is. So yeah, he was pretty upset.
Have they ever talked to him again since then?
A couple of days ago, they had contact, and they told him that they weren't looking his way anymore, that everything was fine.
And have they ever given you any information?
No, it's always the same thing.
Which is what?
They've got everybody on it. They are looking at all avenues. They can't divulge any information that could compromise their investigation. It's the exact same words.
Why are you so sure they're not in the woods?
I have children. I have grandchildren. And I see what kids are like through the woods. There's no reason for any child to wander deep into the woods. There's just not. I think somebody hurt these kids. I think somebody hurt them.
You don't sound very hopeful.
No. Our last day searching on Monday and seeing the woods and seeing the searchers and everybody everywhere. There's no way those kids are in the woods. There is nothing more pure and innocent than a 6 and a 4-year-old.
One of the most significant developments emerged later through court documents. Between 9:30 and 10:00 a.m., during the exact disappearance window, a woman driving on Gerlach Road called 911. She reported seeing a young girl with brown hair and pigtails, a younger boy with dirty blonde hair, walking near the train tracks. Ahead of them stood an older woman, approximately 50-60 years old, beside an older tan or gold sedan with the rear passenger door open. This was reported before the children were publicly known missing. Police have not confirmed whether this sighting was definitively linked to Lilly and Jack. They have also not dismissed it. That detail remains one of the most unsettling. As days passed, attention shifted toward the family dynamic. Malaya became absent from public searches after a confrontation at the command post. Daniel remained visible in media interviews.
Right? Was this some of the stuff that you guys had been like washing when you got it, or?
We didn't get to this stuff because it just became too overwhelming.
Okay.
But this was some of Jack and Lily's belongings from Lansdowne.
Blankets once cherished by 6-year-old Lilly and 5-year-old Jack Sullivan, now reminders.
It was one of her favorite blankets.
Okay, yeah, it's got the cherries on it.
Every blanket she had was her favorite, especially if it was pink.
Cheryl Robinson and Angeline Maloney Arsenault are both close with the children's mother. They've spent the last 9 months doing their best to offer support since Jack and Lilly disappeared, a mystery that remains unsolved despite months of searches.
Happy kids. Very happy kids. Always excited. They love their mom. They love their grandmother. And they loved each other. They fought, but they loved each other.
What was Lilly like?
Very girly. She got excited easily. Loved her dolls. She was just very outgoing and cutest little thing. Jack loves his dinosaurs. Loved to play with his toys. Jack was more quieter. He was on the quieter side. I just happened to scroll Facebook and I saw the post from the RCMP that Lilly and Jack were missing, and we decided we would go over and help look for them.
My coworker at lunchtime, she brought it up and she started reading like the whole thing out loud, and when she said the two names, I was like, hold on, like wait a minute. And I just grabbed my phone and called Malaya and I was like, are your kids missing? And she said yes, and she was very upset.
How would you describe the scene that day?
Chaotic. It was very chaotic. It was very stressful. We had asked for an Amber Alert a few hours after the kids had went missing, and we were told that it didn't meet the criteria because apparently you have to have like a suspect or reason to believe that they could have been abducted. So that was pretty disappointing. Just the condition of the house. I mean, I know that not everybody has a fancy house, not everybody is rich, but there's things that you can do to improve your living conditions.
A lot of the speculation has been, why did Malaya and her family leave and not come back? Mm-hmm. Anything you'd like to say about why that decision was made?
I know that her behavior to a lot of people may seem odd, may seem different, and it may not be what a lot of people would do if their two kids were missing. But until you're in that situation, you really don't know how you would act.
For me, it's just the fact that they're not treating it as a criminal investigation. I think that if they did, maybe they would make a lot more headway in like a faster time period. Kind of like a second job, maybe, in a way.
Why do you do it?
To try to find them and see if we can bring them home.
It's just hard.
Okay, Daniel. So what's the latest with this case?
I think we're going to have to dive into some questions so I can, really try to answer that, because, there's so much. But what I can say is my blood was taken or drawn, and they got a few drops in my blood for that, to check my DNA, because my DNA is obviously going to be on the blanket. But I can't really disclose, and I'm pretty limited on what I know about the blanket at this moment. But I can say, with the DNA collection, something's definitely proceeding forward with that.
How did that go when they took your sample? Did they take you into the station?
Yeah, it was done at the station. An investigator did it. They have an applicator, which, they hit the end of your finger with it, just like you were testing for your blood sugar. Just, pinch the end of your finger, and I had to squeeze for 20 minutes to get some blood out. But after we get those 4 drops out, it goes onto a little pad, and it's put in a envelope and then plastic bag and then sealed up for evidence.
Do you know of anyone else who had their sample taken?
No. I was never disclosed any of that. Yeah. Nor do I ask, because I know I would not get an answer in return.
Right. You've been asking questions.
Yeah, I ask a lot of questions. Sometimes they can't answer.
And was that voluntary, or did they?
That was 100% voluntary. They never have to get a warrant to do anything. I'm always cooperative. Just like in the past, I keep asking them, do you want my phone? Do you want me to do more polygraphs? Like, I'm open to everything. And I always tell them that. They say, Daniel, no, we don't need your phone. Daniel, no, it's not necessary to do any more polygraphs. So at this point, I'm very cooperative, And when they did up the paper for consent on my DNA, they fill in the paper, May 2nd, missing persons case for Jack and Lilly. And then they go through it, and then there's the box checked for criminal involvement, no criminal involvement. And they check the box for no criminal involvement, and I put my signature on it, and there was my consent.
How did you feel when you saw that box was checked?
Very happy. But I've known for, since the start that I'm 100% innocent. But to see investigators say that to me before, but then also, see it visually with my own eyes, it was a big thing.
So it's your understanding you believe that RCMP do not consider you a suspect?
I'd say 100% I'm not considered as a suspect at this point.
Why is that?
I mean, from that box being checked. But we can also go back to when I had my polygraph exam. When we went over the questions beforehand, all the questions were on death, right? So they concluded that by the end of it, I was truthful with all my all my answers. So I didn't have anything to do with the murder of Lily and Jack. And there was no questions on the disappearance or abduction or kidnapping or anything of that nature. So that leaves me with, I didn't murder the kids. I have nothing to do with the disappearance because they did not ask any questions on that.
And so you mentioned that in the polygraph, they didn't ask you about the disappearance and whether you had anything to do with it. But I'm going to ask, did you have anything to do with the disappearance of Jack and Lily?
No.
Did you kill them?
No.
What do you think happened to them?
At this point, I'm completely just not sure. I mean, I've thrown speculation out in the past and, narratives that I think, or theories that, what I think may have happened. But at this point, I have to just go with what the RCMP say because they have so much information, they have more resources, and they're the ones that are fully invested in this case. They have the, intellect and professional training to do what they do. It's been 8 months, and I know a lot of people think that, the kids are not alive anymore, but I hold out hope 100%. I'll always hold out hope every day because there's no reason not to.
Do you think it's criminal?
Yes. But it will not pivot to a criminal case or a criminal investigation from a missing persons until they have a suspect and they're going to be investigated and then, formally charged.
Do you get any sense from RCMP that they believe this is criminal?
Yes, but they don't openly share that or talk about that concept with me. That's pretty limited. They use use the least amount of words they can to convey what they're trying to get across or questions, or it's usually me who tries to dive in depth with them, but they're pretty tight-lipped on everything, and they should be.
How many times have they officially interviewed you?
Formally interviewed. The very first one was about 4 hours, and since then, I'd say about maybe 5 times. I don't know the count exactly, but probably around 5 times.
And when was the latest one?
The latest one would have been, that would have been on the blanket. So, and the actual formal interview for that wasn't very long. That was probably about 20 minutes. But the amount of time I spend with them is a lot because we go over a lot. It's just me asking questions and how can I help them, and so it's usually like an hour and a half to 2 hours. I only plan on being there for 20 minutes or whatever they have to do with me. But it's just like we just keep talking.
And so when you say interviews, that would be recorded, on the record interrogations?
Yes. Yeah, that's the audio recordings.
There have been allegations from Malea's friends and family that you were abusive to her. Were you?
No.
They said that when she moved in with you, she cut off all contact with them and you monitored her phone.
She also monitored mine. We both had the same passwords on her phone, and her friends, she blocked her friends on my phone, and she blocked them on her own phone.
So how would you describe your relationship before the children went missing?
Yes. I don't really want to talk on that because I don't really want to talk on too much to do with Malaya. It's best that we don't.
Okay. And so you mentioned that there were some accusations about your past drug use.
Mm-hmm.
I've read some things about it being drug use that week, the week the children went missing. Is there any truth to that?
No, I didn't have any drugs. And Major Crimes knows that. Or they would have, charged me with possession of drugs or drug paraphernalia. There was nothing at the house. So, and they know that.
What is your history in terms of the drug use? What would you like to share, just to clear the air?
I did not have any drugs. People thought I was doing drugs during the search. Absolutely not. I don't owe any drug dealers money. I don't owe anyone drugs. I'm not a drug dealer. I don't manufacture drugs. Can't really speak on anything more than that, I guess.
Those have been all the accusations made at you?
That I have, manufactured drugs, sell them. I give them to people to sell. It's crazy.
There was no drug party that night?
No, there was no drug party. There was no leaving during the middle of the night. When we pulled into the yard on Thursday afternoon, it would have been about 3:50 or just right before 4 o'clock. The vehicle did not move till the next morning until I got in it and then went searching for Lily and Jack that morning when Malay was on dispatch or contacted dispatch.
How have all of these allegations impacted you?
At the start, it didn't bother me because they're obviously all not true. Basically anyone can just go on there and say whatever they want without any recourse at all. And over time, it started to get to me because it's just constant, right? I tried to keep up on it all and tried to, tell everyone the truth and correct everyone, but it was just too much. When those groups start to get so large and there's thousands and thousands of comments and thousands of questions every day, it's too much. And then you have YouTube creators, they just go on and, they basically become delusional. They have their mob and they look to destroy, or they're completely obsessed with me and the case.
Yeah, what have you learned about the true crime community?
That it's absolutely vicious and, I said this word a lot, but obsessive. And it's a lot of those creators in the true crime community, it's like basically, talking to like a barnyard animal, I guess you could say. They don't add any value other than just being there.
Do you feel at this point things are getting worse? Or has it eased up at any point?
The community it's becoming more aggressive with their conspiracies and theories due to my lack of engagement online. I've received numerous death threats, and Major Crimes has notified me on that, and they're working hard to basically get them under control and find out who's doing them.
How are these death threats coming in?
I get them daily on my phone. That's a normal thing, but Major Crimes was aware of them. I'm not sure if they came in for tips, call-ins, or some other way, but they didn't want to dive into that. They're pretty limited on what they can tell me about any of it. Basically because, they don't want me to get worried and everything like that, but pretty serious stuff, I guess.
How are you dealing with that?
I'm dealing pretty well with it because, nothing really scares me in that aspect. It's been 8 months and I don't really put much thought into where much, I don't recognize it as, having any impact on my life personally. But I imagine a lot of individuals are probably scared for me, I guess, because, they care about me. But for me personally, I just see it as another rock that skips off the water. There still is, people with big hearts out there and open minds, but they're not on there posting. But I do have loyal supporters, and I appreciate every single one of them.
So now that we're coming up, getting to 9 months in this investigation, what's your sense? Where do you think the case stands?
I think the case, it's moving forward, but there is so much information to, really, examine and really go through before you can complete this part of information, then move to the next. And I mean, there's so many tips being called in, and then there's tips that are absolutely useless. Like when you see me out in public, don't call in a tip. I mean, that's just total nonsense, because you're slowing down the investigators and you're slowing down the social media team that they have, and or the guy who checks the tips and reviews the tips. I mean, you slow him down when you're just putting in tips that say, well, we seen Daniel at a gas station buying a Gatorade, because that has happened.
Right. Wow. What would you like to see happen with this case?
I would like to see it closed and Lilly and Jack found safely, and someone is charged with criminal offenses.
Because that's what you think will be the result here?
Yeah.
You don't think they're in the woods?
No.
Have your own theories shifted at all along the way?
They have, but they always come back to what I originally thought. After I just, go over all the information so many times, or lay in bed and go over everything in my mind from the very beginning to where it is now. The theories in my mind change, but I still have to go with what RCMP say, because they have the most information on the case. And I know that's their job to bring justice for Lilly and Jack, and to bring them home safely.
Financial records later revealed significant strain. Loss of approximately $1,900 per month in child benefit payments. Child support payments from Cody had stopped months prior. Daniel's work hours reduced. Vehicle out of service assistance from Daniel's father for groceries and fuel. Police obtained 12 search warrants total. Phones seized. GPS data reviewed. Bank accounts analyzed. Text apps recovered. Vehicles forensically examined. Everything publicly released indicates no inconsistencies found in digital location data. Polygraphs administered to 7 individuals, no deception indicated. RCMP has never named Malaya or Daniel as suspects. They have also never publicly cleared anyone. It later emerged that the children's school had previously reported concerns to Child Protective Services, frequent lateness, inappropriate clothing for weather, hygiene concerns. An autism evaluation appointment had reportedly been scheduled prior to the disappearance. No public findings of abuse were released. By late summer 2025, over 12,000 hours of search time, over 5,000 video files reviewed, nearly 600 tips, 60-plus interviews, 11 investigative units involved a $150,000 provincial reward offered cadaver dogs searched in September. No human remains detected. Police emphasize that absence of detection does not conclusively rule anything out. Authorities repeatedly acknowledge that water remains a significant concern. Rivers in the area move quickly. Streams connect to larger bodies of water and eventually to the ocean. Underwater recovery teams searched in early May. Nothing found. Water searches are notoriously difficult to conclusively close.
It's been more than 6 months since Lilly and Jack Sullivan were reported missing from their home in Lansdowne Station. But now, a renewed search led by a group from Ontario is set to take place this weekend, with an emphasis on the banks along the middle river of Pictou.
I think that if those children wound up in the middle river of Pictou, that there's a high possibility we locate them on Saturday.
Oldreeve says about 40 residents are volunteering with the search, covering a vast area surrounding the river, which he says is right across the road from the children's home. He says water levels have changed in recent months, and that's why certain areas need to be revisited.
If they were underwater at the time of the initial searching along that river, they would have surfaced and they would have gone down river a bit of ways that we're going to cover off. So It's not so much that it's a tactic they haven't used, it's maybe a tactic that they haven't revisited since that initial time, and so that's what we're doing.
The siblings were reported missing on May 2nd, prompting lengthy search and rescue operations throughout a densely wooded area surrounding their home. In September, RCMP cadaver dogs completed a 40-kilometer search in the highest probability areas near the home, but nothing was found. The area's counselor says he welcomes this latest search effort.
I mean, the RCMP have done everything they can here, and the search and rescue have done a tremendous job, and they just couldn't find them. But if we can get other searchers coming in and, whether they find them or not, I don't know, but at least they're trying.
In October, police said they're continuing to go through forensic testing and more than 860 tips, along with more than 8,000 video files. The group's search will go from sunup to sundown on Saturday, with the possibility of carrying into Sunday if necessary.
We're going to do the best we can to locate these kids.
Mitchell Bailey, Global News, Halifax.
No arrests. No persons of interest publicly named. No confirmed sightings. The investigation remains active. RCMP continues to state that all possibilities remain open. Wandering, accidental drowning, stranger involvement, someone known to the family, a missed clue in terrain, a missed vehicle on a side trail. Nothing has been ruled out publicly. 2 children were heard playing in a fenced yard at 8:50 a.m. By 9:40 a.m., they were gone. The woods were searched extensively. The water was searched. The house was searched. The vehicles were searched. The electronics were searched. So what happened in that 40-minute window? Did they walk further than anyone believes possible? Did someone happen to drive down an almost empty rural road at the exact right moment? Did the woman on Gerlach Road see them? Or are the answers closer to home than anyone is prepared to accept? As of now, Lilly and Jack Sullivan remain missing. This is not closed. This is not resolved. And for a case with this scale of search effort, the silence is what makes it so unsettling. Because children do not disappear without leaving something behind. And eventually, somewhere, someone knows more than they've said. If there is any verified update beyond this point, it will come from RCMP directly. Until then, the question remains. What happened on Gerlach Road?
I believe that with hard work and the work we're doing and the information we're gathering, we will find out what happened with Jack and Lilly.
Staff Sergeant McKimmon, with the case of Jack and Lilly, what's the latest?
We continue to gather information and then work any direction that there's more information to gather, review that and look for more opportunities. We continue to take in tips from the public and to review and move forward.
Is this case criminal?
Right now, we're gathering all the information. Once we have all the information necessary, we'll make decisions on any criminality that may be relevant to the case.
Are you treating this as criminal?
Again, we gather all of our information in any of these situations to a judicial standard in case there is information that identifies criminality. And that is part of our job, is to gather all the information so that we can make good decisions with it.
Can you explain how that works under the Missing Persons Act?
Well, basically the Missing Persons Act gives us the ability to get judicial authorization to pursue different, more private information that we can then gather to review for any tips or leads, directions to go to find more information.
The children's stepfather, Janie Martell, has also indicated that recently his DNA sample was taken. Why now?
Because it was the appropriate time, or we felt it was time to collect that information, of course. Sometimes DNA doesn't necessarily, not because anybody's a suspect, but to maybe we may find DNA in places where we expect it to be found and we need to be able to eliminate people. So it's something that we do, especially in missing persons cases, that to collect that information, make sure it's safeguarded.
Are any of the children's family members considered suspects in this case?
I wouldn't say anybody's a suspect. Again, we continue to gather information and whatever evidence that we are able to find, and we'll make our decisions based on that. But I'm not in a position to really comment on suspects or anything like that at this time.
Do you have suspects?
Again, we're working the investigation. I can't comment in detail on where we're going because I have to maintain any integrity of the work we're doing. Anybody in the public who has information that can help us with this are asked to please engage with us and pass that information along so that we can work with it.
What do you think happened here?
Again, I'm not going to comment on what I think. As a professional investigator, we have to base our direction on evidence and information. So I'm not here to comment on my thoughts, and I'll allow the information we gather to make those decisions.
From the beginning, RCMP has maintained that this was not an abduction. The families believe that it could have been an abduction. Do you think that that's a possibility here?
Well, if that were something that took place, we will gather the information and we will pursue that, and we will pursue any charges related to anything like that took place. However, again, we don't have any direct evidence of an abduction or anything like that at this time.
So you're not pursuing the investigative avenue of an abduction?
We will look in all avenues of investigation. I'm just, that's not evidence or information that we have directly at this time.
Why not?
There could be a number of reasons for that. We may not have found that information yet. There could be a member of the public out there that has a key piece of knowledge that we haven't managed to bring forward yet. There could be a number of reasons for that, and the other one being there may not have been an abduction. So there may not be evidence out there to gather. Again, that's why we have to let the information we gather dictate our decisions and direction.
The families say that on May 2nd, they were told by an RCMP member on scene that an Amber Alert would be issued, and that did not happen. Why not?
I can't comment on the commentary that may have happened between a member and the family at the scene, but when it comes to the Amber Alert, the criteria for an Amber Alert wasn't met. We didn't have the necessary pre-qualifiers to issue an Amber Alert. However, we did issue vulnerable persons alerts related to the disappearance of Jack and Lilly, and that was the appropriate kind of direction with the information we had and have at the time.
Looking back, was that the right call?
Yeah.
Have mistakes been made in the handling of this case?
I'm very confident in the work that the RCMP's done on this case, from the initial response that was within really minutes, and people on the ground searching property within a couple of hours, and the continued investigative effort by the investigators. I'm very confident in the work we've done. No, I don't believe we've made any huge mistakes, and we continue to put effort in to try and resolve what's happened with Jack and Lilly. I'm confident in the work the RCMP's put into this file.
What's taking so long?
Well, the sheer volume of information that's come in is a big part, and investigations like this take time. We've had over 8,000 videos that we've had to review and go through. We've had over 1,000 tips from the public, and each one of those tips have to be reviewed in detail, and steps taken to ascertain the veracity or whether they're accurate or not. And that all takes time, and you have to do it thoroughly, and you have to document it properly. So larger investigations, they take a lot of time to do, and we have to take these steps and make sure we get our everything in a row properly to move forward.
At this point, do you think those children are still in the woods?
We've done an extensive ground search using all technology that could be available to us, including drones and penetrating radar for the ground. We've had human remains detection dogs out there, and our ground search and rescue volunteers covered extensively the area around where the children were missing. So I think the chances are low. However, there's always that possibility that they may be in an area that we haven't been able to find them. It does happen, it's happened. So I would say the chances are there is a slight potential they're still in the woods, but we're following up on every lead we can to try and ascertain that.
So if they're not in the woods, where could they be?
Well, again, that's that is the main goal of what we're trying to accomplish, to find out what happened with Jack and Lilly.
The court documents suggest that RCMP are using technology-based techniques. What does that mean?
Basically, we're looking at whatever technology is out there to assist us with our work, whether that be during the search phase with the drones and the side scanning lidar and radar, or whether that's through the use of different analysis products or other tech options, whether it be the use of video review programs that do things more efficiently, which we have done. You know, there's just looking at different ways to do our jobs more efficiently and to gather the most evidence possible.
In the early hours of May 2nd, we know from the court documents that 2 people in the area heard a vehicle coming and going. What can you tell me about that? Is that substantial evidence here? We have followed up on all those areas, and you know, we're confident in the information we've gathered, but I don't really have any direct comment about that situation. We've, you know, it's part of our investigation, and we'll continue on with that. So you're not saying that it's not relevant?
Obviously, it's something that happened in the area the morning that the 2 kids went missing. We have to consider that a relevant thing to follow up with and look into, but I'm not suggesting that's creating us to consider criminal action or anything like that.
As we approach the 1-year mark, is there any sense that this could become a cold case at this point?
I can't really comment on that. The information and investigative work will dictate that. As far as I'm concerned, it's not going to be a cold case. This is a case that needs to be solved, so we will pursue every avenue available to us to ascertain what happened with Jack and Lilly.
So as of right now, it remains very active?
Very active. Very active, yeah.
Do you think this will be solved in the near future?
I hesitate to put any timelines because, as I said, this is a large investigation, and as you've identified, there's a lot to it. It's not an everyday kind of file that's fairly simple and straightforward. So I hate to put a timeline on it, but I believe that with hard work and the work we're doing and the information we're gathering, we will find out what happened with Jack and Lilly.